And today what we're going to do is show you around a new experience that we've created. You may have seen before the tram shed and the experience we're trying to create there. Today what we're going to do is talk you through the new experience that we've created. If ever you've been on a tour of Tram Town previously, you'll remember you had a tour guide and 2 safety stewards, and they would escort you around. This experience is going to be very different. This is actually going to feel more like an exhibition hall. So if you've ever been to a museum, you walk around, you look at the exhibits. It's going to feel much more closer to that. There will still be tour guides available, and we'll still be able to book those sorts of tours as well, so we don't lose that. But we're going to give you a bit of freedom this time to walk around, and so we've created this enclosed area here. So when you arrive, you'll be going from here through those doors. Now at the moment, we've got a number of the team in who are basically making the site match fit. So you'll see things at the moment, you think, well, that doesn't look ready. In 2 weeks' time, it will be ready. So we're painting, we're cleaning, we're rebuilding the benches, and so the team are really busy at the moment making all that happen. And we're creating a feel, and I've always been a big believer that you should look the part and be what you want to achieve. So part of that is making sure it actually looks like an exhibition centre. So rather than people walking on a dirty old floor, they're actually going to be walking on a nice clean floor, bright colours, and that's also part of actually allowing you to know where to walk as well. So if it's a green area, you'll be able to walk on it. You're probably wondering, why have we got a giant My Little Pony in the middle of the space? This won't be here when you arrive, but it will be in the exhibition centre. A lot of people don't realise this, but some of the illuminations used to be built on site as well. So we're going to capture some of the illuminations in this story. Obviously the main features will be the trams, and what you'll be able to do is you'll be able to walk along here and then go and sit in the boat tram as well as part of the experience. It was really important we didn't lose that. We've had, we know from feedback from visitors before that one of their favourite things to do is to actually go and sit on the tram, so we've managed to incorporate that into this experience. They're also connected to electricity, and so this is a big part of the theme in here, electricity and how that transformed Blackpool. So for example, Blackpool tramways existed before the council existed, so which is why there's a substation on site. So we're going to capture some of those histories. It's really important that when we tell that story, though, that we make it for 3 different markets. We make it for children, for adults, and those who are much more technical and want to try and get into the roots of a subject. So there's going to be something for everybody in the story that we're going to tell.
How did I get involved? I was a forklift truck instructor at one time, and Paul lived next door to me, and I said, the one thing I'd love to do while I'm in Blackpool is drive a tram. He said, do you know who I am? So I said, well, you're a councillor. He said, it's something to do with this, and he said, do you want to volunteer? I came here with the hope of driving a tram, but that never worked out. When he found out what I did, that I could talk up in front of people because of my job, he said, do you want to be a tour guide? This is the Bolton tram. Originally in Bolton anyway, but Bolton did have a lot of other trams like Lytham trams, etc. that they converted. But the Bolton district got rid of their trams in 1937. This one actually disappeared. There are over 100 trams that actually disappeared. And what you were actually sat in, the cabin, was a chicken farm at one time. Okay, it ended up on a farm up on the moors. And there was 2 of them. And a lot of the trams actually ended up as caravans to give kids holidays in the country, if you like. They'd never seen a cow, only in the butchers, and they could have an holiday in the country, so a lot of them ended up as caravans. Another place that they ended up was in Pontins at Morecambe Bay, and they ended up as chalets. So, Derek Shepherd was on a ramble, he spotted this tram, got a couple of guys together and decided to rescue it. They took it to the back of the bank in Bolton. It had no front end, no back end, whichever way you want to look at it, and no top. And they took it back in Bolton and started to rebuild it. What you see is actually what you got, all right? They built the front end, built the back end, took it to Cursley Power Station. They needed a top, and that was found accidentally, I was told, by a guy walking into a pub, one of David Shepherd's mates, walking into a pub and seeing somebody sketching out a conservatory. And he said, what are you doing? He says, conservatory. He said, can you build the top on the tram? Actually, Shaw's funeral service in Bolton, and they make coffins. And he said, well, it's not much, it's similar to a conservatory, I can build that. And that's what the top deck is. It was built by coffin makers. But one of the stipulations is that they must have a plaque on saying that Shaw's actually built it. Okay? So that's one of them. All these pipes that you see going down, Derek Shepherd was the manager at Kersley Power Station, and he got the pipes from there. But he said, don't tell them until I'm dead. So really, they are copper pipes. Now, what happened was health and safety got involved. All right, and they wanted to start putting seatbelts and things like that. As you can see, we've got 2 bench seats. So they had to find one part of this tram, what the original, and one of these roof struts, I can't tell you exactly, the bloke's coming in next week to show me which one it is the original roof strut. So now they can call it Heritage. They can't touch it. Like I say, 1901, built in Preston, and it's still running today. It's one of the best trams we've got, I think. It's my favourite tram, actually, because I come from Bolton originally. And it's still running, I think. Pulls customers in, they love it, they're going down the tracks. Right, one of the signs that a lot of people see on the top, it says H, it's not Heritage. It actually means Halliwell. It's where the tram's actually going. Okay, and underneath you'll see it printed out as well. Because a lot of people in them days couldn't read or write, so they just use a letter. It started getting a bit complicated when you got Halliwell, Heaton, etc. Okay, so you got double Dunscrew and all them. And we've got the Halliwell routine, and it tells you where it's going, what the timetable is, and that's for 1940. Now imagine in them days, on this tram, it was actually an open roof. The base isn't original, because they didn't build them in Preston anymore. The actual bogies, they had to search the world for them, and they found these, and I believe that they come from Berlin. So they're not original bogies on them. All right, but everything else. They got as much as they can, exactly as it stands. Yeah, you see all these no smoking signs, they mean nothing. In them days, you couldn't smoke on a tram anyway, it was just natural. But the other one that you see is no spitting. All right, and you see that because of diseases that were going around them days. You'll also see 44 outside, 30 inside. 44 outside because it didn't have a roof on.
I have a picture here. This was taken on the Queen's Platinum Jubilee Parade, special tram parade. As you can see, there are hundreds of people all around the tram. This really shows the power that the trams have. A massive draw of people to come to see that parade. But look at all the people. Nearly every single person has got a camera in their hand or with someone with a camera in their hand. Fantastic picture. I took that from another boat tram.
It's literally about saving our heritage trams, our past, our memories. Everyone, visitors, residents, will have a favourite memory of somebody who's no longer with us at this point, and they remember them through being on these sorts of trams and so on. So yeah, that's why it matters. If I do one thing before I die, it's to make sure we don't lose these. If that happens, then I failed. It does, yeah. So this is, Bob, what's this tram called? And don't say Fred.